A recent Financial Times report reveals a shocking secret project located just 30 kilometers southwest of Beijing, near Qinglong Lake. Over 100 giant cranes are operating day and night, digging massive bottomless tunnels straight into the earth. This project has been ongoing for more than 6 months and is transforming a construction site covering 6 square kilometers into an underground military command center. Its size is 10 times larger than the Pentagon. U.S. intelligence agencies have openly warned that if a nuclear war breaks out, this site will serve as the last line of defense for the Chinese Communist Party. High-resolution satellite images clearly show the construction is in full swing. The dense rows of cranes, deep pits, and organized work areas indicate that this is not a regular real estate development, but a massive underground project involving significant excavation work. The core of the construction site consists of several large operational areas, possibly the future heart of the command center. The outer areas are smaller buildings that could be used as barracks for officers or logistical support bases. The location of this project appears to have been strategically chosen. Situated southwest of Beijing, it's backed by mountains and hidden in the mist, providing a natural defense against high-tech enemy surveillance. The area around Qinglong Lake is heavily guarded, with clear warnings prohibiting photography and drones. What was once a bustling path and tourist spot has been quickly sealed off. Journalists who tried to approach the site were sternly escorted away by plainclothes security officers. The strict control and absolute lockdown convey a clear message. This is a no-access zone, and the secrets hidden here are far from ordinary commercial or civil projects. It's understood that to make way for this underground project, residential areas, commercial streets, and local life around Qinglong Lake were removed years ago. To date, the Chinese government remained silent about this project. All relevant information has been made available by Western media, according to the assessments of Western intelligence agencies. The CCP is rapidly building an underground command center capable of withstanding any external attack. There's a precedent for the CCP's underground bases near mountains. For example, the 6.6 magnitude earthquake that struck near the Gansu Shandan military horse farm in early 2022 is one such case. According to reports, this region is not an earthquake zone, and the quake was artificial, linked to an underground nuclear test. This exposed a large secret CCP base in the area. It was strategically located by the mountains and waters, with multiple access points from roads into the mountain, making it hard for satellites to detect. Trains can enter the mountains and easily reach underground work areas. The area's rich oasis resources and the Qinglong Lake provide robust logistical support. Additionally, reports suggest the CCP is using a new 15-meter tunnel boring machine to create connections between various underground facilities, large enough to accommodate modified Dongfeng 31 intercontinental ballistic missile transporters. On September 29th last year, CCP state media hinted that the Dongfeng 31A missile tested on Hainan Island might have been transported there via a secret underwater tunnel, avoiding satellite and radar monitoring. Iran has also showcased its underground missile Great Wall in September, a network of underground facilities 500 meters deep. However, U.S. intelligence believes that Iran's entire underground network is still smaller than the Qinglong Lake site. This shows the CCP's intense investment in underground projects and its political ambitions. Western observers are increasingly concerned that these projects signal an extreme shift in the CCP's foreign policy. They fear increased pressure on Taiwan, a military buildup in the South China Sea, and an expanded nuclear deterrence threat to the U.S. and Europe. This shift in policy became apparent after U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan in August 2022. An article from the CCP-affiliated media NetEase outlined a worst-case scenario where the U.S. formally recognizes Taiwan's independence. This could trigger a military conflict over Taiwan and even lead to a large-scale war in the Western Pacific. The article further said that if the U.S. military and government lost control, the CCP's last resort would be to initiate an all-out nuclear war, even if it meant the end of humanity. In 2023, academician Qian Qihu of the Chinese Academy of Engineering admitted in an interview that a critical project was under intensive construction. The goal of this project is to create an underground facility that can withstand nuclear strikes. These facilities are designed not only to ensure that core departments and command systems operate in extreme conditions, but also to provide the Communist Party with a last line of defense in the face of a global crisis. The video content at the time hinted that China absolutely harbors the intention to eliminate all 300 million Americans. This indicates that, to secure its regime, the CCP is willing to take dangerous steps against humanity. Unfortunately, the bunkers built by the CCP have been revealed to have serious engineering quality issues. For instance, the underground command center in Beijing's western mountains, despite its luxurious interior and modern amenities such as large display screens and glass partitions, has significant construction problems. Insiders revealed that back in 2014, due to excessive radon levels, several workers were diagnosed with lung cancer. Although a new ventilation system was installed, engineers noted that the entire design and construction of the ventilation system adhere to basic civilian standards, which are far from sufficient to meet the demands of a nuclear war, where fresh air must come from a closed system. A senior military industry expert stated, "Real underground military facilities require a high standard of sealed protection for the ventilation system. The CCP's facilities still rely primarily on civilian air conditioning technology, making it difficult to even guarantee basic air purification. Moreover, in the area near Dazhao Mountain, offices, rest areas, and even villas for top military officials are riddled with shortcuts and corruption." It's clear that the CCP's older underground command center in the Western Mountains has quality concerns, with numerous issues arising. Given the current economic downturn and the various levels of the government focused on making money, the CCP's large investment in the Qinglong Lake command center is undoubtedly an even bigger prize. It's expected that the construction quality of this facility will also suffer due to cost-cutting, and it may not fulfill its intended use during wartime. Experts have pointed out that in essence, the CCP's underground projects are massive and expensive displays of muscle, with the real purpose being to gain psychological advantage in global geopolitics. This strategy of showcasing power has become even more evident since Xi Jinping's third term. On November 8, 2022, after securing his third term, Xi Jinping led a media team on a visit to the Joint Operations Command Center of the Central Military Commission, a world map prominently displaying U.S. command centers, Taiwan, Northeast Asia, and military facilities in Myanmar attracted particular attention in official propaganda. This conveyed a clear message. The CCP's goal is global military surveillance. In his speech at the command center, Xi Jinping reportedly emphasized that the entire military must focus all its energy on preparing for war. He called for accelerated improvement of warfighting capabilities, and pointedly stated that the instability and uncertainty of the national security situation are increasing. The so-called security situation reflects Xi Jinping's deep concerns about his political standing and his anxiety over regime stability. At age 72, Xi Jinping knows that the military control once shared by figures like Zhang Youxia will be lost after he steps down, and the consequences could be worse than any of his predecessors faced. Therefore, Xi does not rule out starting a war with Taiwan to consolidate his personal power and stabilize the domestic situation. This explains why, despite China's economic struggles and growing social tensions, the construction of this costly underground fortress continues at full speed. Xi Jinping has repeatedly received various warnings, including mysterious prophecies suggesting that a war would lead to the CCP's collapse. As a result, the military remains in a defensive stance. However, the situation is changing. The ongoing economic decline has led to opposition forces within the party, and any major natural disasters that damage infrastructure could trigger widespread public dissatisfaction. However, opposition factions within the CCP would likely seize the opportunity to strike. In such circumstances, even if U.S. President Donald Trump continues to emphasize the need for world peace and opposes war, Xi might still take the gamble and initiate conflict. From a broader perspective, the global political landscape is undergoing profound changes. The rise of right-wing forces in Germany could trigger authoritarian trends in Europe. China faces potential betrayal from traditional allies, and the attitudes of North Korea, Russia, and Iran remain crucial. International experts widely predict that the future may see a global coalition against China, and the growing wealth gap within China could lead to defections among the military and civilians in times of crisis. All of these factors provide a strong explanation for the CCP's continued large-scale investment in underground infrastructure projects. Despite economic difficulties and intensifying internal divisions, securing the CCP's rule has become its top priority. The new underground command facility at Qinglong Lake will still take years to complete, so the CCP currently relies on its existing older command centers to respond to potential conflicts and challenges. According to rumors and reports from Luda Media, the command center is located beneath a regular mountain called Dajiao Mountain, located on the outskirts of northwest Beijing. It's said that this underground command center dates back to the 1950s and 1960s, constructed following the Soviet model. Initially, it was expanded during Lin Biao's tenure as chairman of the Central Military Commission. Its purpose was to address air defense and nuclear strike threats. Later, during the Hu Jintao-Wen Jiabao period, the facility was mostly abandoned until Xi Jinping came to power and decided to renovate it. The command center is located about 150 meters below the surface of Dajiao Mountain, with the mountain providing solid protection. The bunker has multiple concealed entrances, some of which are camouflaged as banks or guest houses, but behind certain doors are armed guards. Inside, the command center features a large screen similar to those seen in military dramas, allowing real-time switching of maps and intelligence reports. It serves as a key location for high-level meetings and urgent military briefings. The interior has been modernized, with glass partitions dividing offices, high-speed fiber optic cables, and even real-time integration with military systems such as satellites and radar. This fully modernized underground command center is where the CCP's top leadership makes secret decisions. High-level matters such as Xi Jinping's alliance with Putin and decisions about Taiwan and military operations are made here. Even the translation into multiple languages of the open letter to Taiwan is arranged within these walls. Meanwhile, the CCP has invested heavily to enhance its nuclear deterrence and retaliation capabilities. On September 26, 2024, the CCP publicly acknowledged the construction of 3 underground missile launch sites, which will be connected by underground tunnels. The CCP claimed that these sites would eventually be filled with hundreds of intercontinental ballistic missiles, amounting to thousands of nuclear weapons. In the same article, China firmly rejected the U.S. nuclear arms control initiative. The blunt language indicated that China's stance in previous arms control negotiations with the U.S. was merely a deception, as the CCP aims to prepare for nuclear war. Even earlier, on December 7, 2023, the CCP reported the opening of a 2,400-meter-deep underground laboratory at Jingfeng Mountain in Sichuan. Its goal is to research cosmic dark matter, further showcasing China's extreme determination in nuclear defense and retaliation. In the face of such an extreme opponent, who claims to be ready for war at any moment, countries, especially Western democracies, must rapidly adjust their strategies. During Donald Trump's first term, this strategy proved effective. His fire and fury rhetoric towards North Korea and calling Kim Jong-un a rocket man forced North Korea back to the negotiating table. On the Taiwan issue, Trump publicly warned the CCP of serious consequences if it attacked Taiwan. He also applied maximum pressure on Iran and China through tariffs and sanctions. While controversial, these actions clearly communicated to adversaries the cost of escalating tensions. In the current situation, the West needs this kind of firm and decisive strategic posture. The U.S. is currently monitoring the CCP's underground projects around the clock, using satellite images to gather detailed data on the number of cranes, excavation depths, and construction progress. This has greatly diminished the effectiveness of the CCP's so-called mysterious protection, and allows for more precise countermeasures. With the U.S. developing advanced weapon systems such as new ground-penetrating missiles and millimeter-wave radar, the CCP's underground projects will face even greater challenges to their defense effectiveness. On October 17, 2024, the U.S. military conducted a precise strike on an underground bunker used by Houthi rebels in Yemen, sending a clear strategic warning to the Chinese Communist Party. As a U.S. commander stated, the continuous development of high-tech weapons is rapidly undermining the false sense of security that comes from relying on underground bunkers. While this demonstrated U.S. strength, it also sparked deep global concerns about an arms race. People are angry that a regime can act so recklessly, spending vast amounts of money on war preparations. They're anxious about whether the US, Japan, Europe, and other nations can effectively and promptly curb this extreme risk-taking. Every time the militaristic tendencies of a great power surface, the ultimate outcome is a global conflict of immense proportions. Ideally, such a bunker would never have to be put to use. By holding authoritarian regimes accountable and curbing their power, we can hope to secure a more peaceful planet.